No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. She could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him. No, I have no intention.
How does President Trump make the stock markets go up? There is one market that he always look at. What is that? Welcome to World Traveling Millionaire Stock Investor and Option Trader channel. Where are you watching from? Comment down below. S&P 500 is up 1.67% on April 23rd. Nasdaq 2.5%. Dow Jones 1.07%. Year to date, it stayed down 6.57%. So there are lots of opportunities in the stock markets right now. And it's not every day that we get stock markets down just like that. Look at this. And Nasdaq year to date down 13.24%. Yeah, so many opportunities. 8.4% S&P 500. Usually they are usually up at the beginning of the year. But if you look at over the past 5 years, even if you invested at this top, before the bear market, hey, you will be better off if you DCA, dollar cost average, buy regularly every week or every month. And because by the time stock market goes up, your average cost will be much lower. So always DCA. So how does President Trump make the stock market go up? And what did he say that could make the stock market go up? Or maybe what he doesn't say that could make the stock market go up. Let's see.
The president is backing off his threats to fire the Fed chair as his administration talks up a possible tariff deal with China. That sent markets soaring. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has the story. Good morning, Mary.
George, good morning. While the White House is well aware that the president's tariffs and his knocks on the Fed chair have caused turmoil in the markets, and they're trying to reassure anxious investors. The president now painting a rosy picture of these negotiations, but still not offering specifics.
He stopped saying that he's going to fire Jerome Powell because he said that his firing could not, his termination could not come fast enough. But then he saw the stock market crash for the 2 or 3 days. Then he changed his tune. Hey, I have no intention of firing Jerome Powell, right? So the stock market went up, and also his tariffs were like so crazy. Now he's giving in. He shows that he's willing to negotiate, giving in. There are some negotiations going on with China, although. Not many believe that. Not many people believe that they even thought, China and US. So in this video, you're gonna see an interview asking President Trump, "Hey, what have you taught? Have you taught, to the China?" Then let's watch how he responds.
His attacks on the independent chairman of the Federal Reserve spooked markets. This morning, President Trump now says he has no intention of firing Jerome Powell, the Fed chair he appointed.
No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates.
A change in tune after the president blasted Powell, calling him a major loser and saying Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. But most legal experts agree the president doesn't have the authority to fire Powell, who has 1 year left in his term.
The reason why he said that he has no intention of firing him is because he already explored the options of firing him, and he realized that there is little to none option to fire him, because that's the main reason why Federal Reserve independence is very important, right? Because they have 2 jobs. One is price stability, control the inflation, and another one is to maximize labor employment. So those are the most important objectives of Federal Reserves, and these objectives in order to achieve them, Federal Reserve they have to be independent, right? They could not give in to president or anybody to achieve those two objectives. And that's why the founding fathers of America, they make it so difficult to fire Federal Reserve. And remember, President Trump hired him, Jerome Powell. So ever since he hired him, President Trump has threatened to, fire him because he never lowered the interest rate because President Trump's pressure. President Trump, he always asked him to lower the interest rate, right? Because as a businessman, for the businesses, lower interest is good, and low interest is good. And also, U.S. has lots of debt. So when you have lots of debt, when you want to borrow money, when interest rate is high, you pay higher borrowing costs. So lower interest rate is very attractive to President Trump, as you can imagine. But at the same time, if you lower the interest rate, that's gonna increase the inflation. So that's gonna be very hard for the economy to achieve maximum performance over the long term. If inflation keeps going up, it doesn't matter, no matter how much you work really hard, your money just like that disappears because of inflation. So you better just as well move out of America and live at somewhere else and don't live in America, because every day that you're living in America, if inflation is too high, you're losing money. Every time you go to your job, you lose your money. Every time you put your money in the bank, you lose money. So that's why I invest in stock markets. Right? Stock markets achieve higher return than any other financial investments. Right? So it's very, very important. So he still has 1 year left. So that's why, I'm not gonna fire him. I don't have any intention to fire him. So the market goes up, and also it will be interesting to see how President Trump responds when the interviewer journalist asks him if there's any negotiation going on between China and Trump. Let's watch.
Trump's attacks sending markets into a nosedive. Wall Street is heading to its worst April since the Great Depression. The International Monetary Fund now warning Trump's tariffs will slow economic growth around the world, with the U.S. taking a significant hit. The White House now trying to reassure anxious investors. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent telling investors he expects a, quote, de-escalation of the trade war with China, saying the current situation is unsustainable. But the administration is sending mixed signals about the state of talks with China.
We're going to be very nice. They're going to be very nice. And we'll see what happens. But ultimately, they have to make a deal. I think it's a process that's going to go pretty quickly.
But the Treasury Secretary telling investors something very different, acknowledging China is going to be a slog in terms of the negotiations. The president refusing to say if he's talked directly to Chinese President Xi or if negotiations are underway between the two countries.
Mr. President, you said you're ultimately going to make a deal with China, but where do things stand right now? Have you talked to him? The secretary said these negotiations are going to be a slog.
My relationship with President Xi is great.
So you've talked?
It's been great for a long time. We've had a very good relationship, and I think we'll make a deal with China.
President Trump keeps saying that, he has a great relationship with President Xi Jinping. But have you heard anything from Chinese media or President Xi Jinping says that they also have a great relationship with Trump? I haven't heard about it. He has been waiting by his phone for President Xi to call. Did you hear any news that China started calling the U.S. office? Maybe I may miss that. But if you know, comment down below. Okay. But he's very good at answering the journalists. He didn't answer at all, So you have thought, no, he didn't answer at all, So yeah, it's pretty funny.
Now, despite the lack of specifics, the White House's positive outlook seemed to be enough for Wall Street recovering much of its losses from Monday, George.
It doesn't really matter. when President Trump says, hey, I have no intention of firing Jerome Powell, markets get really happy because it's going to be really horrible if he could fire Federal Reserves. Then there's no trust in the U.S. financial system. U.S. financial system is based on independence of Federal Reserve. So that's very important. Hey, I'm happy that he decided not to fire Jerome Powell. And yeah, it's good. It's a good way to answer the reporter like that, you know. He doesn't have the answer, so that's why he just keep talking what he usually do. So that's something good to be learned. It's good to be learned. Okay, so what does he look at? There's one market he always look at. It's Treasury yield. Initially, when he started with tariff war, the Treasury went down to 3.86. That was good news because U.S. needs to borrow new loans to pay off the old debt. So they want to have the lowest possible interest possible. Then he started saying, he wanted to fire Jerome Powell, and his tariff war went out of the hands. So the lots of Indonesian investors damn U.S. Treasury, and the markets also believe that inflation is going to be high because of tariff. So interest rate went up. Then he started talking about firing Jerome Powell. Then the market got worse. It's even went up more. Now he's realized that it's not working, right? So I need to change my tone. I need to keep the market stable so that interest rate went back down a little bit. Yeah, that's very smart of him to do that. But honestly, right, there could have been better ways to handle tariff situation. Instead of imposing tariff for everybody, why not just target China or give the countries a deadline, maybe 90 days. If you don't do that, I'm gonna raise the tariff. That way, the businesses, they have time to react, right? React to make sure that they have enough inventories to not run out of the empty shelves, to not to have empty shelves. So that's very important. So if you want to learn more about stock investing, option trading, advanced option, you can go to Master Rate Stock Option Crypto and check out my playlist. And if you are just starting out, want to open a stock trading account, the links will be in the description comment down below. And share, subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye.